Welcome back, everyone, to another session of the Half-Rate Heroes. So, before we jump into our epic adventure, a couple announcements real quick. If Carl, I know we announced this last night, if you wouldn't mind announcing once again about the Roll20 Con for us.
Sure. Roll20 is doing their Roll20 Con this weekend, which is the celebration of the Roll20 community. They're also supporting charity with. I didn't have the script in front of me, so I have no idea which
Sorry.
charity that is. But I did prepare a command ahead of time, and Shazam! And I will now click on that charity, and that will tell me.
Mm-hmm. So, go ahead and purchase that charity pack from Roll20 to donate to this brilliant cause. It's great content, and it's also a good cause. What's
Yes,
the charity?
Charity is Take This, which is supporting mental health folks who with mental illnesses, who letting them know that they have options, and all that good stuff.
Yep, I played a tier 4 game last night. It was good.
Good. Well, thank you for that. Want to reiterate and invite everyone to follow us on Twitter. We are at Crituitous RP, and share us with all of your friends as we continue to have fun with this grand adventure, this homebrew story that we're having today. And we will be trying out something new in that we will actually start using battle maps for our group. So bear with us while we give that a go with this newfangled team. All right. Previously on the Half-Rate Heroes, our group of adventurers had been in the city of Tribor, having been in there when an attack had been made on one of the local lords. They had gone in for the rescue. Ali had followed the criminals, the assassins, as they ran off, got herself captured. The party chased off after and saved Ali from these individuals, killing all of them except one of the knights. The knight was very much useless and unwilling to give much information over to the party. So was handed over to the authorities in Tribor before Darathra Shendril, the Lord Protector of Tribor, and a member of the Harper Agency, escorted the party with her entourage to the city of Yatar. Within Yatar, our heroes entered into the Harper headquarters, where they met a interesting old mage named Archaeus, and were given access to the Harper teleportation network. Darathra Shendril, whose hair Kale collected at the end of last week's session, is with you all and has escorted you out of Archaeus' office. You are in the large open kind of social area. There are couches, there are places for you to relax and sit and meet with one another. She asks you if you are ready, if there is anything you would like to do before I explain the teleportation and show you how to get to Everland, is it? Yes. What can the Harpers do for you here?
Well, I saw those paintings you had out there. That looked like. Could I imagine that you guys are surveilling these different areas?
To a degree, yes. We like to keep tabs on some of the more influential individuals in the world, just to ensure that things are proceeding in a goodly fashion for the world.
Oh, we're recently out of Neverwinter. What do you make of the new fella?
Lord Belvedere, Interesting individual. One of the few folk that we have absolutely no knowledge of prior to his ascension to the position of Lord Protector.
Well, it's not suspicious at all, is it?
I know, but since he's been Lord Protector, he seemed to be focused on ensuring that his citizens are happy, and he, from what we've seen, he does seem to focus on some of the more ignored folk of the city, the lower class, a lot more than most previous Lord Protectors. What did you make of him?
Seemed like a right fine chap.
Good.
I take that this teleportation network that you're going to show us about is just one of the things that you hoppers are into, and presumably some sort of scrying magic on these different locations. Is that what you guys?
Amongst other things, yes.
I'm interested in those other things. What other resources do you all have? Like I'd only ask because it seems like it's an organization that is clearly on the cutting edge of technology, and it might be an organization that I'd like to be a part of someday. You know, what are the things that you guys do?
Well, it's good to hear that you might be interested. It would certainly be an honor to accept an individual such as yourself amongst our ranks. We do, however, like to keep our activities on the quiet side. So, would you be capable of acting on behalf of the Order in a private manner?
Sure. No need to throw your name around.
Okay.
And
Very well.
I am concealing my Emerald Enclave pin, tucking it in.
Mm-hmm.
No reason anyone has to know anything about that.
All right. Well, yes, some of the magics that we do use do help us not just to watch an individual, but mostly to get messages back and forth at an incredible rate. It helps keep our network up to date very quickly. We find that a lot of the traditional methods of translocation communication is a little slow. I mean, there's only so many people capable of casting a sending spell so many times per day, so we have to fix that, and we created methods to communicate indefinitely across great distances.
Well, I don't want to speak for everyone else, but I'd surely like to be associated with your network.
Well, wonderful. That's we appreciate that. If I will certainly put in a word with the other members and get back to you on your potential position within the group. We usually do require that someone who wishes to be part of our organization to perform a task that might prove themselves to us. Prove their capabilities.
What did you have in mind? I mean, we did return the folks who tried to kill you.
Yes, you did, and that was one such activity that was a little noticeable. We want to see your capabilities when it comes to spying and staying hidden and quiet. In fact, there is a task that does come to mind that might be quite useful. As of yet, we've been unable to get any of our Harper agents to head into the Shadowfell and return. through one of these little shadow holes that's starting to appear. We would appreciate it if you would head into one of these holes, scout around the area of the Shadowfell a little bit, and then come back out. You need only stay a day there. That's all.
So I put up a finger, and I lean over to Kale. I was like, is that something you can do? If we followed one of them shadow dogs, can you bring us back?
I have no idea. I've never been to the Shadowfell before. And then he'll pipe up and talk to the Durethra and say, do you know how we would get back, perhaps? I imagine not, since none of your agents have returned.
Well, true. Our assumption is that if the shadow creatures are able to use these pockets of shadow to come here, that you might be able to find out how they're doing so.
Seems reasonable.
All right.
Of course, you don't have to do such a thing if you don't feel capable of returning.
Well, I will take some time and ask somebody before we go. And I'm sure I'll get a truthful reply.
Who will you ask, pray tell?
Well, I don't... Surely you are familiar with keeping secrets. As someone who is unwilling to share their information with us, I feel that it would be unwise of us to divulge the same sort of information back to you until we have a bit more trust between the two of us.
Fair enough.
Ah, it must have been a test. He passed, right? That was good. I didn't even see that coming. That was good.
And keep secrets. It's good.
Yes. I would ask, and this is very low on anybody's priority list, I'm sure, but you are a vast information network, if I'm led to believe everything you've been saying to me and everything I've seen. I was wondering, I'm searching for a particular individual, a elven woman by the name of Serial, who probably looks a lot like me.
Have you tried scrying upon her, since you know her name?
I do know her name, but unfortunately I've been kind of wrapped up in all this Shadow Dog, Missing Children, and Silvery Moon business. But I was just wondering if maybe she was a part of your organization, or if anybody like that had come through at any point in time.
You don't happen to have anything that belongs to her that could help us to narrow down?
No, not at all.
No. Well, it is possible for us to, in essence, use you as part of the material components for a scrying spell on this particular individual, since you do know of her and know her fairly well, I'm assuming?
No, not at all.
Oh. Okay. Why are you searching after this particular individual then?
I've been told that she is my mother, and I just want to find her.
Okay. We can certainly give it a try, see if it works, and see if we can scry on her location.
Great. As I said, it's a kind of a low priority given the other issues that are certainly abound these days. But whenever you have time.
Performing the spell should take no more than a minute or two.
Okay, were you thinking about doing it right now?
Why not?
Okay. Sure.
Okay. If you would please follow me, and she'll walk over across the room to more of a meeting area. There is a large painting on the wall that does show the current Lord Belvedere of Neverwinter. As she steps up to it, she'll wave a hand, and the painting will go completely clear. and she'll ask you, please, if you would mind just standing in front of the canvas for a moment.
Okay.
Okay. Would you mind also if I took a piece of your hair?
Not at all.
Okay. And she'll turn to Ali. It's a little bit different than what we did, so please don't feel offended by the non-trade of hair. I'm not giving him a piece of my hair in return. I need this for the spell.
Oh, no worries. I will not take offense. I promise.
So she'll take a hair out of you and place it into a little pouch that she's got on the side. Begins to add a few other ingredients and then starts mumbling to herself in Sylvan. It is the incantation for a adjusted scrying spell that allows her to be able to utilize you and your knowledge and familiarity with the name to be able to zone in. Let's see Kale's mother roll a wisdom save. Okay. You stand with your back to the canvas right now. As you stand in that position, everyone else kind of watching you, you see their faces seem to light up a little bit as there is light emanating from behind you. Darathra does turn you around. I think it's working. You watch as ink seems to just collect from the border of the frame of this canvas in towards the center, all different colors mixing together into a myriad of shades, fantastical images. Then it begins to solidify. You see beautiful and colorful trees, huge mountainscapes, rivers that seem to shine. And then the image gets a little bit clearer. You see a single woman stood on top of a rock at the edge of a lake, tall, female, wearing a white robe. Her facial expression looks similar to yours, but a little more feminine. You are looking at your mother for the first time. She is staring at the water in front of her that seems to just ripple out. The whole scenery seems to just illuminate and shift in colors constantly. You watch as a frown comes across her face, and the trees around her seem to shift to a darker hue. Then she smiles, and they become a little bit brighter. The area somehow capable of reacting to her very emotion as you stand there watching your mother. Says Darathra. Quite clearly, there she is. And I do believe that's somewhere in the Feywild.
Noted. Thank you very much. That was very informative.
No problem. The image freezes, and it stays as a portrait of a ghostly-looking woman on the rock, like it was a painting made of that image as the spell ends. I'm sorry I couldn't get an exact location within the Feywild, but it seemed quite clear that that's where she is.
I would concur. Yep. Kale will take out his book and just start writing in it.
Allie.
Yes. It was useful. Go ahead.
Allie's gonna kind of give Kale a hug.
While he's writing his book.
Yeah.
This is nice, but could you maybe not for a second?
No, you need this, Kale.
I really don't. Please.
Shh.
This is making my life harder, actually, than easier.
After a moment, I just let go.
Okay, thank you. And
He
he's
needs some time to process.
Sure. That's it. Yep. So that's over.
Dorathra, if you show us how to use this this teleportation thing, do we have to go right now?
Not really, no. A high-ranking member of the Order is the only one permitted to perform the teleportation circle spell that connects you from location to location. So one of us would have to do it, but no, it doesn't have to be. Doesn't have to be right now.
All right. Well, I don't want to take any more of your time. If you want to show us, and then we'll report back when we're ready to go. Would that be all right with you?
Yes, that's permissible. So she'll take you away from that painting, and then forward towards the central part of the chamber. A staircase winds up and out of here, further up into the tower, which is already quite tall for what it was. As you step up to the next level, you see a series of alcoves lining this circular chamber. Each alcove and an archway with decorations and carvings on the stonework that seem to depict the location individually. Huge signs placed over them that do state the city, Neverwinter, Everland, Yatar. Well, not Yatar, because you're in Yatar. That doesn't make sense. Mirabar, Loudwater, Waterdeep. All of the locations are listed in this system. And then there is a central teleportation circle in the room, next to which there are two tall, well-armored individuals stood guard over the system. Periodically, while you're stood in that room, every few minutes, one of the alcoves will suddenly light up, and then you'll pop out. You'll see an individual pop out of a teleportation circle that appears in that little alcove. Various different individuals in, I'd say, clean, fancy attire. As they step out and then go down the stairs down to the main chamber. Dorathra explains to you, so the central portal here is what actually is used to send you out to any of the other locations, and the alcoves are the portals that come in. You see, a normal teleportation circle spell, we could simply grant you access to the teleportation circle, the sigil, to this particular location, and anywhere in the world you could cast the teleportation spell and appear here in the center of the chamber. However, if you were to use one of the portals within a Harper tower in any of these locations, the teleportation will take you to the correct alcove in the spot that you need to come from, and it is a little less resource intensive on your part to use our tower system. When you are ready, you will be brought here, and one of the Moon Lords of the organization, a high-ranking individual within the group, will perform the teleportation circle spell for you. And you simply tell him which location you'd like to go to, and he will send you there.
So if we knew this spell and we went to the Shadowfell, would we be able to use that spell to come back here? Would that work?
Let me check whether or not teleportation circle permits you to be able to do it across planes. I'm not sure if it does personally. I think it should. So that links your location to a permanent teleportation circle of your choice whose sigil sequence you know, and that is on the same plane of existence as you. So you can't use teleportation circle to get back and forth between planes, unfortunately.
Right.
Question for you, milady.
Yes, good, sir.
So, what be the chance of all me parts being in the same position when we get to the other side?
I would be lying if I said I've not encountered an individual who didn't come out the same way that they went in. But I'm sure that you'll be fine, Master Dwarf. We've had plenty of experience with this, and you should be able to move from place to place without any issue. You might lose a bit of hair, but you'll be fine.
Oh, I don't know about this.
Well, it's up to you whether or not you use it.
Okay, some thinking's got to be done. Some praying, maybe.
Although, just going to say that has given me the idea now that whenever you five teleport from one location, body swapping is going to start happening.
Sure.
Well, Dorathra, you've been a treat. Thank you so much for showing us here into this teleportation room.
No problem.
If we do
And
make it to the Shadowfell, we'll be sure to seek you out and let you know what we found.
Of course. She will hand you a piece of parchment which has the teleportation circles of each location within the network. And she does say, now we are entrusting this to you. Do not let it out of your hands. Okay? Then she will escort you back away from the teleportation network, just because she can't leave you alone in there while you're not actually initiates. Mm-hmm. So, what would you folks like to do?
So, by my reckoning, if we took this portal to Everland, that would put us ahead the schedule by 8 days. Or at least the amount of time it would take for us to go from there to there is about 10 days, and we dick it around in
Tribor.
Like Allie. We were there for 2 days, so jumping ahead would put us back on schedule and ahead of schedule. But it sounds like we do have another day or two if we wanted to do anything else. What do you all say?
I don't know. Me thinking that the scenery between here and there is probably pretty nice. So I wouldn't wanna miss out on it.
Yes. However, the reason we're going to Silvery Moon was because there were children being captured or lost. So I feel the longer we take, the worse off they may be.
You had to bring children into it, didn't you?
Well, I didn't. Lord Belvedere did. So.
Is it possible that these kids are just going missing because they're playing with the shadow dogs and jumping into the shadow holes?
It is. We could, yes, it may be possible that we would save much more time by just jumping into one of these holes and finding all the children in the Shadowfell and being stuck there and not being able to come back.
But
that would kind of save a lot of time if you couldn't return.
Well, if these dumb animals are crossing over, surely our combined brilliance should be capable of devising a way back. Surely.
Mm,
As
I don't
he's
know.
saying that, I'm kind of just making faces at one of the tapestries. Just like looking off to the side, not paying attention.
Well, I reckon that these folks have all sorts of things that we can get that, like maybe a discount if we were part of their member, if we were a member of their club, like a discount buying program, but they wouldn't extend to us unless we were their members. So if we did this thing for them, they might be able to, you know, supply us with things that we might need.
You're right.
Membership has its benefits and all that.
Suppose it does. And they seem to have no shortage of resources. That is a conundrum. I would like to pose a question to Denier about what to do before we do anything. And I would like to do it not here, because I feel there's a lot of prying eyes here.
Well, if we're going to
So,
stay,
yeah.
maybe we could get a room at an inn. But we're probably not staying. We're probably either going to the Shadowfell or going to Everland, right? So that'd be a waste.
Right
Couldn't
this
we do?
minute?
Couldn't we do both? Couldn't we go to Everland and then take the Shadowfell in one of the holes? Surely, if
true.
it's reached this far, it's probably reached Everland, or even Silvery Moon if they're related.
Well, if we hopped into the shadows and hopped right back here, we might be able to get some boon from the hoppers, is what I was thinking. The hoppers here,
Well,
who know us.
if their teleportation network takes them over to Everland, then it's safe to say that they have a base of operations there, and we could easily return here or anywhere else within the network.
Extra hops, who knows what mishaps could happen.
And if we do jump into the Shadowfell and we do locate these children there, it may be beneficial for us and for them, really, if we are closer to Silver Moon, where they are from and live, and we can take them back to.
What
Alright,
happens if someone spends too much time in the Shadowfell?
It's probably not good.
Darathra, do you know?
Or is she still around?
She did kind of leave you all alone.
I mean, can I roll for Shadowfell knowledge, I guess?
Yeah, absolutely.
What is that? What skill will that be?
So that would be your history check to see your what you've studied in the past, what you have learned.
17.
17. Okay. The biggest problem with spending too much time in the Shadowfell is all the nasty little creatures in the Shadowfell. There are a lot. The Shadowfell is an extremely dangerous place to be just walking around, especially in a dangerous place to be lost in. On top of that, you would know that the Shadowfell has a tendency to mess with someone's emotions. And some people who have messed with the Shadowfell incorrectly have appropriately gained some form of depression or madness as a result.
So, Allie, anybody, whenever a creature that's not native or attuned to a particular plane goes to that plane, it's bad. It'll have invariably negative effects the longer that you stay, and the Shadowfell is no exception. So the sooner we get there, the better, and the faster we get back out, the even more betterer.
Remind me again, why are we going?
Save kids. And
Someone asked us to.
yeah, Lord Belvedere asked us to go. Is there something else you'd rather do?
I don't know. I'm just getting uneasy, I guess.
It's understandable.
I'll pass Wampum a bottle of whiskey. This will help.
She knows me.
Well, nobody's under any particular compulsion to go or to stay with the group for any reason. So
I think Wampum was more discussing his concern about going to the Shadowfell than going to Silverymoon.
right. No, I was gonna say, if you're afraid to go to the Shadowfell, it's fine. You can wait here.
Afraid?
That's what it sounded like to me.
Well, we don't even know if the kids are there. What happens if we go there and then we get trapped there and something terrible happens to the kids? Surely Neverwinter contacted us for their help first. So we should probably prioritize them, in my opinion.
Yes, Lord Belvedere did have dibs. And if we don't respect dibs, then we are no better than something bad. I don't know.
Dippins.
Yes.
Well, I am curious to hear what your source on the matter has to say. So let's find some privacy and let you do your thing.
You should ask them if they're related.
If what's related?
The kidnappings and the Shadowfell.
Oh, yes. Single question. I can only ask one question.
You'll be able to, as you are led out of the tower, you will be led towards plenty of places within the city where you can sit and think and relax and wait. Not so much taverns or inns, unless you wanted to go to one, but someone will guide you towards a local park or a garden that you can sit in and privately have this discussion.
You could ask, where on the Shadowfell are the missing children? That would tell us if they're connected, maybe.
Mm.
I was thinking it might be more important to ask how we could get back from the Shadowfell once we go.
That's quite important, yeah.
Yeah. But does anyone else have ideas?
How can we get back from the Shadowfell after finding the missing children? There.
How can we get back from the Shadowfell alive, unharmed, and in a normal state of mind after finding the children in good working order? No.
It's
How
like
many
making a wish.
questions can I cram into one sentence?
Ye heard, Darathra. She says she's seeing people not come back right.
Right. That's why I'd like to ask for a way back.
I'd like that question first.
Okay. Well, one more time. I can do it once today and once tomorrow. So
Are you going to do it right here?
I guess I will.
Well,
Why
while you're
not?
doing that, I'm going to pick some flowers.
Enjoy.
So you're casting the spell. What is your question? And which spell are you casting, by the way?
Divination.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask, how does one travel from... Well, let me phrase it correctly so that it is relevant to the spell description. Ask a single question concerning a specific goal, event, or activity to occur within 7 days. So concerning our impending journey to the Shadowfell, how do we return to the material plane from there?
Okay. So considering all of the spell doesn't take into account any possible circumstances that you could cause that could change things. The response that you get finding your way back is going to be harder than the actual travel.
guess that's technically true.
Me
Okay.
don't like the face you just made.
Well, it seems that whatever proxy I was speaking with is trying to duck the question a little bit. They would only say that it will be more difficult leaving than it will be entering, though they didn't specify.
Okay, sorry. Maybe I wasn't clear in what I was saying. What I meant was finding the way back will be more difficult than actually getting back.
Right. So the implication, of course, is that there is a way back.
There is a way back.
That'd be good news.
Yeah.
Well, it's not as clear cut as one would hope for. So maybe we should just head on to our original quest, hop on over to Everland, and press on to Silvery Moon. Because that seems less risky and more in line with what we signed up for. Right?
Yep, it does seem less risky.
All right, then.
You hesitated, Mr. Kale. You worry me.
Well, the way things seem is not always the way things are. But
Man,
we'll find out.
man, sounded like a wizard.
If only I were, then this lovely hat, would be so much more useful.
All right, well then should we skip ahead to Everland? No sense renting a room here if we're not going to
Well,
put down roots.
let's slow down a minute and smell the flowers that Allie has picked for us. Let's just
Should I-
relax for a bit.
Should I roll a d20 on how many flowers I got?
Unless you find yourself, for some reason, incapable of picking flowers normally, and there being a challenge to yourself in doing so, I think you should be capable of picking them without a d20.
All right, so I've got this beautiful bouquet of flowers now, of just every kind.
How do they smell? How do they smell? I'm gonna do this. They're all right.
Yeah, you like to smell.
Smell like flowers.
I picked the prettiest ones. We don't have these in the Underdark. It's just mushrooms. Yeah.
Are there different types of mushrooms?
Yeah, you have the glowing ones, the smelly ones, the big ones, the small ones, the moldy ones.
What color are the glowy ones?
Blue.
Just blue? No greens or reds or yellows or pinks?
Not
or
that I've seen.
oranges? Magentas, violets, ultraviolets, mega violet, super violet.
Kyle, why do you want to stick around here for? What is it that you want to stay
I
put?
wanted to ask about mushrooms and flowers just for a second.
Well, we could do that in Everland as well.
Do you know if they'll have flowers and mushrooms in Everland?
Well, you could ask Allie all the questions in Everland.
Fine.
But what is,
I
if
guess
you want
we
to stay
should-
here, I'm sure you have a good reason. Just
No, we should be in a hurry because there's things we have to do. Yes.
No, no, no. No hurry. No hurry, Mr. B.
Nearby. Hey, wait. Never mind. Nothing.
Ali,
Let's go.
you would know that in the Underdark, there are even mushrooms that can change your size.
I'm going to withhold this knowledge.
Oh. There we go. All right. So you guys head back to the Harbour Tower, speak to one of the members' representatives there, who have been notified that you guys are now accepted as friends, and then you just say you would like to go to the Everland, or do you have something else you would like to do?
I'll just flash my ring because they said it was very important that we were wearing it. So I think Everland is the closest to Silvery Moon, right?
Right.
Right.
So he, the guard, leads you up. speaks to one of the two soldiers that were stood either side of the central point, who will then ring a bell. A fellow elven individual, kind of sharp features, bald head, long blue robe, suddenly steps out of nothingness, having seemingly been not there a moment ago, steps forward. Yes, and where are you headed? What is the destination you intend to reach?
What? Could you repeat that?
What is your destination? Which location do you intend to travel to today?
I'm sorry, your dialect, it's very... Where are you from?
I am from here.
Yartar?
Yes.
How come
Native.
nobody else sounds like you at all?
I found that slightly offensive that you're picking up in such a manner. I have work to do.
It's the circle of me telling you. The circle be doing that.
So, where are you headed?
We're headed to Evelyn.
But we're
Okay,
worried
Good.
that the teleport... okay.
He waves a hand. The central portal opens up, and it begins to glow. Please just step into the circle, and you will find yourself in Everland shortly thereafter.
Allie's gonna offer him one of the flowers she picked.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And she's gonna go step on the portal.
Okay. You step in, and you'll disappear and seem to fizz out of existence. One down, 4 to go.
Okay, see, I'm just concerned that if I wind up with a speech impediment on the other side, I won't be able to perform the vocal components of the spells I need to cast.
What gives you any indication you might have a speech impediment?
Well, as my friend the dwarf here was asking, is it your proximity to this portal business that's affected your speech, or was it?
Kale, that's rude, mate. That's rude.
I need to know.
My voice?
I'm not trying to insult you. I apologize if you feel insulted, but I just need to know.
What's wrong with my accent and my intonation? What's wrong with the way I speak?
It's difficult to understand.
Should I speak a little bit louder?
And yes, and also if you could enunciate a little bit, just a little bit more.
All right, hop into the portal.
2 down. Only 3 to go.
I'll go too.
Okay. Wampum, do you follow us?
Oh.
I'll take that as a
Kale,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Kale, if you tell anybody, I'll smack you. I'm scared.
That's natural, and it's good to be scared sometimes. But off you go, and he'll shove you.
Oh, no.
On the other side, Nos, a moment after you step out, a dwarf comes falling out in front of you, having been pushed through the portal. And that leaves just you, sir.
Yeah, I'm going. And he'll just walk.
Just be careful you don't. And then you step away.
Don't what? Don't
The
what?
teleportation circle finishes, and with a flash of light, you are pulled across the world to Everland, having done 8 days' worth of normal travel in a second. You pop out to see Wampum a little bit shaky, having fallen over from being pushed, and
See,
everyone
Mr.
else out.
Kale, I told you it'd be just fine.
I'm like patting myself down, seeing if anything's changed or if I've changed color.
Kale's trying not to throw up. He's like, you were right. You were so brave, Wampum. Can I lay down? Is there somewhere to lay down?
What's wrong with you?
There's plenty of open floor right in front of you.
What's wrong with your
Okay.
voice, mate?
I can't. I can't right now. And he just goes and just a minute. That felt terrible. Do you guys not feel terrible?
No,
Am I
mate.
blue?
No dramas here.
Would you like me to carry you?
Yep.
Okay. Pick him up.
Like a cradle, kind of.
Sure.
As you guys step out of the alcove that has Yartar's name above it, a little old woman is there, just manning the position. Welcome to Everland. If you would please follow me, I will show you the way out. It is a pleasure to meet all of you.
G'day. And I show him my ring.
Yes. I assumed you're here for legitimate business. You did use our network. Come on. And then she'll...
Alia offers a flower. It's from Yatar.
Wonderful. I'll be certain to send it back. Okay. So she guides you to the exit. As you step out of the tower, you look back, you see this huge black obsidian tower. It is 4 towers that are joined on the edge to one another around the central column. And glowing almost at the top of this huge tower is a huge mirrored surface shaped like a moon. You now stand at the edge of the city of Everland. Now, the tower, which has been called Moongleam Tower, stands lifted and raised against the city walls, watching over the entire city beyond. The city is a circle shape, but it is cut in half by a river that cuts across, and it is built in layers as it heads closer and closer to the river and then further down. The spot just in front of the river is a much more wide open market square available for you, and judging by the time of day, if I remember rightly, you guys arrived into Yartar quite late in the evening, so it is still late evening. The city streets are fairly empty as it's nighttime. Just for visual reference, that is the city of Everland. You arrive at Moongleam Tower up here. Okay?
Okie dokie.
Right. The city is quiet as it's nighttime. What do you do while you're there? Do you find a place to sleep, or
Getting in, sit out in the morning.
I think we need to drink.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. After a quick search of the town, you'll find a couple locations, some fairly cheap to fairly high-to-do locations, but mostly you're recommended to head to the Morning Crown Tavern. As you see this location, it's well built. It's built to look like a castle from the outside, but it is basic brick. It looks like a tiny little castle that's been set up. With the entrance of this tavern being what looks like a drawbridge that's been opened up. They've really gone for the whole Castle Crown kind of feel, a little playful with this space. Inside you see suits of armor lining the walls and people moving around in huge dresses and costumes as they're serving your tables and serving drinks, with the large bartender being a half-orc individual stood behind. You're in the tavern. rooms for the night will cost you 5 silver per person, and that will include 1 meal and 1 drink.
Okay. Seems fair.
hmm
What if I talk to the guy in Orcish? Does that help?
Depends on what you say to him in Orcish.
Just figured. I was just gonna ask normal style, like, hey, we're looking for rooms. What does it cost? But like, say it in Orcish to.
Am I still holding you?
Oh yeah.
My goodness. Okay, cool.
As you're being carried into this fun little tavern, because you spoke to him in Orcish, he does have a bit of a smile. He will say that for the 5 silver, he'll actually throw in 2 rounds of drinks for free.
Awesome. You have a deal.
Nice.
Right.
Wampum, I got us extra drinks.
I
can
know
have-
you.
You can have
You
mine.
got to be good for something.
You can have mine. Nos, please just lay me down in a bed and leave me forever.
Okay. No, I can't leave you forever.
Well, I'll get up eventually.
I'll tuck you in though.
Sure.
One of the bar wenches leads you to your rooms, and you will have these rooms that are fairly nicely decorated with different themes. One has a picture of a dragon painted on the side. Another has a picture of the ocean underneath it. They've decorated these places for the fun and the feeling. Will you all be staying in separate rooms, staying together? Separate.
I want me own room.
Okay. Then while you're sleeping in separate rooms, I'm assuming you're not going to be like making watches and that sort of thing.
No,
Okay.
it's crazy.
Yeah. Crossbow does it for me.
Okay. So during the night, you guys rest well, rest completely, gain the benefits of a full long rest without getting disturbed. You will wake up bright and early at dawn to the sound of a horn being played downstairs, nice and loud. Then metal starts clanging.
Why?
I immediately bolt out the door and like, I don't even know what I'm wearing. Probably like pajamas, and just super excitedly run downstairs to see what's going on.
I'm gonna kill me somebody.
As you get downstairs, you'll see that people have begun lining up for breakfast, rather than sitting down to have it dealt to them. They've actually set up more of a soup kitchen style arrangement, a buffet style breakfast that you follow the queue, and there's one of the barmaids at the side ringing a bell.
Any notable individuals in the line?
Roll a perception check.
That'd be a 12 total, I think.
Okay. What would you consider to be notable?
Anyone that I may have seen before, anyone wearing fanciful clothes, sticking out, looking like they're interesting and maybe not from around here.
A lot of people seem to be looking a little interesting, but not because they're not from around here, unfortunately. They're all new people. Your work has mostly been on the other side of the north, so you've not experienced any of the people here before.
I'm gonna kind of grab a tray and get in line. What types of foods do they have?
Grits. That's it. Nothing else. Just grits.
All right.
Gruel. I don't know. Porridge.
Like-
Ooh.
No
I'm gonna
butter.
I'm gonna get a huge bowl of porridge and find a seat.
Okay.
I'm gonna like motion to random people to like join me.
As you guys wake up periodically and gather together, you'll start hearing talk and rumors. There's going to be a big hunt today, just for the fun of things. People are going to go out and hunt in the Evermoors for some trolls if anyone wants to join them. Otherwise, it's a fairly simple and innocuous day within the city of Everland.
So how much coin be trading for these trolls?
Oh, we're not trading the trolls. We're hunting them.
Yeah. How much
Yeah.
coin?
Oh, no coin. If you kill it, you get to keep the trophy.
And the trophy being?
The troll.
Oh.
Have you ever gone out hunting before,
No.
sir? No. Well, you see, once you've killed the creature, you get to stuff and mount its head upon your wall.
So ye take a dead thing and put it on ye wall.
Yes. Once it's been cleaned, of course.
And that purpose be for what?
Decoration, and to show off your prowess. I myself have a number of troll and other similar creatures on my wall.
So what ye house smell like?
Like flowers? I mean, I do take care of my... I don't quite understand the line of questioning, sir. This is a normal thing.
Ye have a bunch of dead things on ye wall.
Yes, but they have been preserved so that they don't decay.
Me gonna have to see this.
Well, it's like the leather in your armor. It's part of an animal, and the leather doesn't decay because it's been treated, sir.
I take your word for it.
Yep.
Right. Well, that was a delicious breakfast. Should we be out?
Sure. Yes, I've made a point to avoid trolls most of my life. I used to climb in the troll claws a lot, and they were everywhere. Wasn't good.
We could spend some time going around the city. Who knows? Maybe there are any clues to lead us in our investigation.
Well, I think Silvery Moon is just 2 days out. We could just head on up and look for clues on the way.
I like what you're saying. Let's just head out.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So, packing up your belongings. Since you teleported here, the only things you have are those things that you carry on your back. There are no horses that came with you, unfortunately. So, you've just got what you've got. Heading out of the city of Everland, the trail is well established, and many people travel back and forth between Everland and Silver Moon all the time. It's a busy road, very busy road, particularly for hunters and travelers heading up and down this path. As you begin to progress, you see a couple caravans move past, and plenty of people that seem quite chipper and excited. I mean, it's a pretty happy side of the world. Certainly don't see any of the evidence of individuals having to deal with shadow beasts on a regular basis. Yes, Nos?
Should we stop and ask one of the caravans if we can hop on? Might be faster.
Sure, if they're heading in the right direction, yeah.
I've got a couple.
Ask them if they need our services as caravan guards.
Okay. I'll run up, try to catch at the head of the caravan. I will make my cloak billow when I get there. Make myself look all nice and fancy. Ho there! Well met!
Greetings!
Excellent day!
It is an excellent day. My name is Davina.
Davina, I am Nos the Red.
Wonderful to meet you, Nos. And what brings you on this trail on this fantastic day?
Do you happen to be headed to Silvery Moon?
I am indeed. Actually, I plan to head just past Silvery Moon. I have business to attend to just beyond.
Well, praise Tymora. That's where we're headed as well.
That's
Would you like additional security in exchange for a faster rate of travel?
I don't see why I should need additional security. The road is fairly safe and secure, but you're welcome to join the caravan.
That is so gracious of you. Thank you so much.
Obviously, you'll have to eat your own foods, but yeah, join.
Thank you. All right, guys, load up.
Did we buy food at any point in time? Do we have
Well,
rations?
we had the food that we got from the assassins added to our stores.
Okay.
Along the journey, this caravan that you've joined seems to be filled with a lot of bards. Like, a lot of stars and music players, and they're having a grand old time and playing all kinds of wonderful music, and instruments abound everywhere, singing almost constantly.
I will whip out my lute and join right in.
And I will whip out my flute.
I got a flute too. Hey.
And that leaves Wampum and Kale.
Bang the drums.
I will look for some coffee.
Oh my god.
It's so immersive.
I knocked over a bunch of dishes looking for some cloth to put in my ears.
Okay.
What other instruments do they have? Like any instrument?
So there are plenty lying around if you wanted to use one. Lutes, flutes. Trying to think of some more instruments.
Those are the only two instruments that there are.
You
They're
can clap
anywhere.
your hands.
Well, there are drums, triangles, metal plates, spoons. There's one bard that's
What's-
particularly good at the spoons.
What's
It's
the
quite
most
shocking.
complicated instrument that they have?
If you ask them,
Yeah.
a harmonic.
Like harmonica?
Yeah.
All right. I take a second and I channel my divinity and give myself proficiency with harmonicas. And I start to play.
Okay. Roll a performance check and add your proficiency bonus if you're not already.
Oh boy. Glad I did this. What is performance? 12.
Oh, okay. You play a pretty good tune. Simple notes. Nothing special. No special twangs to your music, but it's good. You're all joining in. Wampum's a little disturbed, but everyone's having a good time. The bards and the traveling individuals tell wild tales of great adventures that have happened, all of which are more than probably false. But it's a great time, and the journey over the 2 days to Silvery Moon is actually completely uneventful.
I have one of these.
That is our travel song from now on.
Harmonica is a very underrated instrument. Anyways, where were we? What were we doing? I can't remember.
It was very uneventful, except for the masterful harmonica playing happening all around.
So you, one thing that you noticed is when the night came in and camps were being set up, everyone seemed to have no care in the world for what kind of defenses they would set up with the camp. What would you have done during that night?
Made some lights so there's less shadows.
Yeah, I would cast Continual Flame on something. So I'm pretty sure I bought 50 gold worth of ruby dust at some point. Or no, I said I wanted it, but I didn't. Can someone have loaned me 50 gold pieces for some ruby dust back when we were in Tribor?
It's more likely that the extremely happy-go-lucky individuals near you would be willing to trade you some or offer you some if you needed it.
Oh, yeah, I do. I mean, they're not going to get it back. I hope they know.
And they seem to be really happy. Like, by the time the night comes along, maybe they're a little bit too happy.
Can I roll a perception check?
What are you doing perception for?
No one should be that happy.
That wouldn't be perception. If you're trying to gain someone's... Yeah, it would be more of an insight check.
Yeah. As the day wore on and we're getting towards the night and they're still frivolous and full of frivolity, I would definitely start getting a little worried and maybe put my flute down and kind of start looking around to see if anything's out of the ordinary.
All right. While you're doing that, and while the continual flame is being cast or lights are being set up, one of the travelers will approach. Hey, what you doing over there? What's up?
Are you talking to me?
Just everyone. As you're setting up defenses for the night. What was your insight check, Ali?
29 total 29. With my plus 10.
These folk are genuinely really happy.
Wow. Just taking precautions. You can never be too careful.
But what do you think will happen to you? It's a safe road.
Well, off the top of my head, just from personal experience, there are bandits, orcs, there are shadow beasts, there are owlbears, there are dragons. Who knows?
Dragons in this part.
Or maybe some nymphs. Or woodland sprites.
Guess that would make an interesting tale.
I got a better question. Why are you guys so confident nothing will happen?
Because nothing is happening.
That doesn't mean that it won't.
I don't know. Just everything seems good. I just don't feel like we need to worry about that.
How long have you been so happy?
That's like asking someone how long have they been the way they are.
Yeah, like, were you born this way?
No, I mean, I don't remember noticing a particular moment when I became happy. It's not like a disease that I caught.
It's like, what are you smoking and can I have some?
I can't tell you, but yes, of course.
Nice.
Do these folks seem supernaturally happy?
Like it seems that they're very... well, roll an insight check.
That's a 2.
2. No, not at all. As the night goes on, shadows will appear. The lights that you cast create shadows as much as they... well, they don't create shadows, but they illuminate certain areas, and certain other areas are considered in darkness. And
you can't take it back.
Shadow. Oh.
You've got footage.
But during the night, the shadow beasts and things that you had witnessed, you don't see them come back. You don't see any particular spots of darkness that get even darker. Everything seems actually pretty good, pretty excited, and lively.
Do we start feeling happy?
You all do start feeling pretty good.
Is it a context thing from what Nos has been not passing
No.
around.
No, it's not like a contact thing. It's just like the very air around here just seems
Lighter?
lighter. The world seems less dark compared to Tribor and Neverwinter, where you had been.
Kyle, mate, when you've been having these conversations with Lord Belvedere and you've asked him about the shadowy things, did he say that, oh yeah, we've got all these shadowy things hanging around Neverwinter? Or did he seem surprised?
I don't remember him knowing anything about the shadowy things.
I don't remember you asking him anything about the Shadow Beast.
I think that was the first thing I asked him. I was sending to him like the first night. I said we were attacked by shadow beasts, and he said I didn't know anything about that. But he'd have people look into it.
Have you asked him about it since?
Nope. It's been a while.
I think you asked him twice. First time he had no idea. Second time he said he'd look into it. So it meant he still had no idea.
Yep. Well, yep. I wrote in my book that he dodged the question about the shadow dogs twice-ish.
But we don't think he's behind it. We think they're just appearing naturally, right?
Right.
But they're not appearing there, and they're not appearing here.
Right.
Kale, are there opposites of shadow beasts?
Would I have to roll to know that like there kind of is?
No, because last week I think we did cover that the Shadowfell is in exact opposition to the Feywild.
Right. Yeah. So that's what I was about to say. Yeah. So there are. I don't know specifically what they're called. Gosh, blink dogs maybe. I'm not. There definitely is opposite creatures that exist in the Feywild.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Lafcadio, would you like me to speak with Lord Belvedere again? I feel like my last two conversations with him, well, not conversations, 25-word exchanges with him weren't particularly fruitful.
Well, I guess I was just trying to get confirmation that the shadow problem was geographically confined to one area, because it's not happening here, and I didn't think it was happening over there. So
It does seem that way. You know what? I'll ask him. I'll confirm.
Okay. So you cast a sending spell. And we'll assume you do it on the first day of travel, not the second. So that you've got everything back by the time you get to Sylvania. So what are the 25 words that you use?
Yo, what's up with the shadow dogs? Got any problems with Shadowfell out there in Neverwinter, Lord Belvedere?
Not had any problems ourselves, but areas outside the city seem to be facing problems with shadow creatures. Particularly bad is Helm's Hold.
Helm's Hold.
Which you would know to be a small, almost like a monastery type establishment immediately south of Neverwinter that's dedicated to extremist members of the Order of the Gauntlet.
Extremist?
Like people who are so much about the Order of the Gauntlet that they've actually created a subsect called the can't think of it right now, but they worship Helm specifically within the Order of the Gauntlet.
Okay.
Gilded Eye Something about the Gilded Eye. Order of the Gilded Eye or something.
Wait. Wasn't that the robes that those assassin people were wearing?
Then
That was
I'm
the Arcane Brotherhood.
It was a silk robe with sun imagery with an eye. Okay. A lot of eyeballs floating around. That's cool. Okay, good to know.
Helm's Hold, sorry, I was completely wrong. Helm's Hold was founded by the Company of Crazed Adventurers.
Company of Crazed Adventurers?
Crazed Venturers.
Crazed just Venturers, not
Yep.
Adventurers. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, noted. So I will share with Leocadio. Apparently Neverwinter proper isn't having any issues. However, Helm's Hold, directly to the south, is. So it may be that this issue is spreading. It's starting to seem that way. And then back out of character, I just wanted to note in my downtime, I would be reading that book on learning Gnomish. So I don't know how long that'll take to finish.
Roll an intelligence check.
Boy. I rolled a 2. So 7.
It'll take you a while.
Alright.
So smart. All right. So with that information, knowing that this problem with the shadows is growing, it's not confined to Tribor in the area immediately around. It is beginning to grow, but that the area around Silvery Moon is quite the opposite. You will arrive to the city the following day, evening time. Anything else you would be doing along your travels to the city?
Are any of the people in the caravan that were traveling with traders of jewelry or outfits or clothing?
They're not merchants. Okay.
Allie will spend her time learning instruments with the bards and learning some tales.
All right. Fair enough.
Well, they had ruby dust. They got any other jewelry they want to give me for free?
Nope.
Damn.
Yeah. All right. So towards the end of the second day's worth of travel, the caravan pulls up into the city that is known colloquially as the Gem of the North. And it is a beautiful city. It seems to shine and glimmer. The walls of the city are lined with so many soldiers that as the sun is setting, it seems to bounce off of their arms and armor, that it seems to cause the ring of walls around the city to shine a little bit. It is a well-protected and defended place, but everything seems to glow almost as the sun is beginning to set. The travelers that you're with pull up outside Silvery Moon. And this is as far as you're going, I believe. And you'll hop off, and if you ever find yourself in Zymorvan Hall, come check us out.
Bless you.
Thanks, friends.
They continue heading along the road. The city of Silvery Moon is a large city, very beautiful, tranquil city, trees and gardens everywhere. Stark contrast to some of the other more industrial-looking places that you've been to. At the center of the city is a slender, tall palace that has been set up. That just everything seems to gravitate towards. Are you going to go sleep for the night or report directly to the High Marshal Methrama Arusame?
I guess. Well, what time of day is it?
It's evening.
Yeah, I think we have time. We can go report to the High Marshal very quick.
Yeah. if he's really fond of this, of our Lord Belvedere, he might put us up for the night. Who knows?
Yeah. Let's find out.
So you'll follow the streets, and the places, as you begin to go, you see almost everyone here is robed in some fashion. And a couple individuals even have hats that look almost identical to Kale's as you progress. The huge palace has plenty of soldiers surrounding it that seem to just watch you as you approach. The doors open wide, and a tall-looking individual, fairly thin, does have some dark facial hair, but it is kept quite neat to the edge of his chin. Steps out to you all. Greetings to you all. I am Methrama Arusame, and you are...
Good day, mate. Lafcadia Whitehorn.
Greetings.
We're here on behalf of Lord Belvedere. Here are our papers.
Yes, you weren't quite expected so soon. I hope all is well.
Well,
It's over the papers. Everything's fine.
that depends on whether or not children are still being snatched up.
Well, children aren't exactly being snatched up. They're just going missing. But perhaps we can discuss this inside. Let us follow me out of earshot. He leads you into the palace proper, into a large open waiting area. There's a couple functional chairs that don't look comfortable. They're made out of wood. They don't have cushion on them, but they're delicately designed. He invites you to sit down in front of them, and has a servant come over and bring some light bits of food and drink for you all. There's wine, there's ale, there's cookies and bread and cheese, just simple things for you. I'm quite impressed that Lord Belvedere sent some individuals that were capable of arriving so quickly.
Well,
So we're off to a good start.
I'm so surprised.
Well, the last group that he sent to us took a little bit longer than they should have arrived, and they failed to prove themselves quite useful.
The last
And
group
you
he...
thinking that be us too?
Over time, when I've had problems, I've spoken to individuals and friends, and they've... well, Lord Belvedere sent a group of folk a couple months back, just after he was assigned, actually, and they took a while to get here.
well,
Did he send them here for the same purpose?
No, not at all. Those that issue we had to solve ourselves, and we did solve. It's completely unrelated. You don't have to necessarily worry about that.
Oh, I'm not worried about it, but I'd love to know everything about it. Anyway.
Well, you see, it was we had some trouble with giants just recently. Yes, it was solved. I mean, we put them all down. We didn't want to have to put them all down, but we had to, without the aid of those that were sent to us. Instead, we have a new problem now, and it is disappearing adventurers. Okay, you're back. Good.
Yep.
So
Disappearing adventurers?
no, I was making a comment about Ali's camera going out.
Okay.
Children have been disappearing of late, and we believe we have narrowed it down to a particular portion of the forest just outside the city. at certain times of the day, children playing out there seem to return with weird tales and strange stories. And so some of them don't return. We have had one or two individuals investigate, and it would appear, as unbelievable as this is, that certain portions of the forest around the outside of Silvery Moon seem to be opening themselves up to the Feywild.
Saw that coming.
We don't know why, and we've had a few people go in. Unfortunately, most of the people we've sent in have come out without any memory of everything that happened there, so it kind of caused some problems. We were hoping Lord Belvedere would send us at least one person of Fey ancestry that would help solve this.
Kind of.
Kind of. Wonderful.
Yes, I have elvish blood. If it wasn't obvious from the skin and everything, but
I try not to assume by someone's looks.
Well, that's a good idea. So yeah, I know quite a bit about the Feywild. I've encountered a lot of Fey happenings and creatures in my time.
Great.
So yeah, investigating this should be fine. However, I think the best deterrent from being taken in by Fey creatures is, of course, education. Children or their parents first need to pass on messages to their children about general avoidance of Fey creatures and not falling into their, I hesitate to call them traps. They don't necessarily know what they're doing. They're not doing it on purpose. Fey creatures generally act on a whim, of course. That's the whole idea. So, it may be a bit beyond me to set up an entire educational campaign, but I could maybe lay out a plan that you could distribute to the people. And in the meantime, perhaps my friends and I could explore these portals. However, on our way here, we encountered a similar issue surrounding Tribor, except instead of Fey portals, it was Shadowfell portals.
Oh.
Which I believe that may be the more pressing issue.
Have
missing
children gone missing in the Shadowfell? Has anyone gone missing in the Shadowfell?
Not that we know of, but
there are children that have gone missing in the Feywild.
I understand that, and as I said, probably the best way to keep them from going missing in the Feywild is, one, to keep them from entering the wilderness so much, and two, to educate them as a look for what to avoid. The difference with the Feywild and the Shadowfell is that I feel like the Shadowfell encroaching on this world is a bit more serious of an issue, and we should maybe clear that one up first. Because creatures in the Shadowfell are a little bit more inclined toward violence, I believe.
How many children we be talking?
Well, 15 children had gone out to play on the occasions that things happened, and 8 of them have returned. The other 7, we're not entirely sure what's happened to them. We haven't seen any sign of them, and since the last group went missing, we have stopped anyone from entering into the forest unescorted, just on the off chance anyone falls through one of these entrances. But there are still 7 unaccounted for. They've been in there for a week in our time, and as I'm sure you know, Feywild time is sometimes distorted.
Kale, mate. It seems like, I mean, it's probably more than a coincidence that both the Shadowfell and the Feywild are coming into the material plane. The almost certainly linked with a common root cause. If we're going to explore one or the other to determine where that root cause lies, perhaps going into the Feywild where it's less dangerous, and we have a greater opportunity to find the children would be the best use of our time.
To be
I'm kind of in agreement. I think we's here. The kids be missing. Let's bring them home.
I agree.
to be frank with all of you, he'll addressing his group. I think for us, the Feywild may actually be a bit more dangerous. Particularly for you and you, he'll point to Nos and Wampum. The thing you have to understand about the Feywild is that it is a plane of extreme emotion. And so any anger of any sort will manifest itself in its most extreme form. You understand? And any whimsy or joy will manifest itself in its most extreme form, and you're gone. So
Just like that.
Just like that.
Did you catch what I was saying, Allie?
Mhm.
Okay. So that's whereas the Shadowfell would be sort of everything's more muted there. So it may be easier for us to traverse that plane than it would be the Feywild.
Kale, I'm not afraid.
Oh,
of
it's not about
what
fear.
is there?
It's any emotion. That's what I'm saying. Are you guys, the two of you I've seen get a bit more riled up than the rest of us. So I worry that it may be difficult for you to contain your emotions at such a level that we would be able to remain safe in the Feywild.
Would it make you feel any better to give you permission to take me down if I get out of control?
Oh no, that would be much worse. That would just make it way worse. There's creatures that are born out of death and murder and killing in the Feywild. Pretty nasty.
Well, I'm not willing to let go of this mission just because I get angry sometimes. I'm willing to do much more than put up with that and try to control it harder than to turn my back on a bunch of kids.
We came here for the children. I say we bring the children be home.
I agree.
All right. Well, all I can do is educate, I suppose.
I be educated.
Sure.
I understand your concern, and I appreciate that you are attempting to watch our backs.
So,
Well, then that's wonderful, and that's sorted. I appreciate that. We will put you up for the night, make sure that you're well rested, that you sleep well, and then first thing in the morning, you charge on into finding those children. Are we agreed?
Sounds
Of
great.
course.
We agreed.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, with that, we're going to take a 15-minute break. Rejoin the adventure in 15 minutes once these guys are arrested, and we will advance on into the Feywild.
Ooh.
Welcome back, everyone, after the break. Thank you for sticking with us. So, our heroes have arrived in Silvermoon. They've met with Methrama Arasumi, as they had been tasked to by Lord Belgadere. He seemed to indicate to them that there is a problem with the Feywild encroaching upon the area around Silverymoon, and children have gone missing. A group of 7 kids have been gone for about a week of real world time. So our party rest sleep, and then in the morning, a guardsman will approach to take them to the spot where the children went missing.
Kale, before we head out to this Feywild place, is there something we should have on our person to...
Oh yeah, is there any magical mumbo jumbo that could like calm a person down?
Yeah, or is there anything we can use to hurt fey creatures that attack us?
Don't attack any fey creatures. I will prepare a spell to keep everybody calm if need be. There's a few rules that need to be adhered to, and like he'll share all this like on the way. I'll break it down to just 7. Okay. First, don't accept any gifts. No gifts. They'll offer you all sorts of things if they can. Don't take any of it. Politely, very politely refuse. Don't drink any of the food or any of the water. We need to bring all of our own supplies. If you're invited to dance, don't dance. Politely refuse, again. Definitely don't tell anybody your full name, because to the Fae, names are very powerful. Don't give them any of your clothing unless it is the absolute fun. Don't give them anything unless it's the finest of that thing. Otherwise, they will get very upset. And whatever you do, never, ever say thank you. They may offer you gifts, politely refuse them, but definitely don't ever thank them for anything explicitly.
I'm wringing my hands nervously at this point. Just like...
Make sure you're very polite at all times, but never say thank you and refuse all of the things they'll offer you.
So what happens if I do
So what's the
give them a
7th
gift?
one?
So it's don't accept any gifts, don't eat any food or drink the water, don't dance, don't tell them your full name, always be polite, don't give them any gifts that aren't the best of the best of the best, sir, and don't ever say thank you.
Okay, fair enough. Sorry. Go ahead, Graham. Okay.
Oh, what happens if you do give them a gift?
They will, if they like it, they will respond in kind, and then they will give you a gift, and then the cycle will begin, and you'll be caught, you'll be stuck there, and they'll keep expecting more of you, and you'll keep expecting more of them. And when you accept something from them, you may get, charmed. Pretty much any time you interact with any fey creature, be wary of being charmed.
You can't say thank you?
Definitely
weird.
do not. That
Is
is
that-
the
is
worst.
that- Anger them?
What about if we say
Yes.
it backwards?
Definitely don't do that either. That would maybe even be worse. Because then they would get confused, and when they're confused, they're angry. The reason that they don't like the word thank you is because the implication is that they have just given you this great gift, and your only response is just a placid thank you. That they'll feel insulted.
Is it just the word thank you, or is it the sentiment?
It's definitely the words.
Okay.
Anytime, basically back up any of your words with action.
All right. So if I don't want something, can I just go like that and shake my head?
Maybe put a little bit more into it.
A shaking of a head and a bow.
A bow is good. Bowing is a great idea.
Okay.
Bowing is a good idea. But what about if we said it backwards? Like,
Don't
shank?
Don't hurt yourself.
look at me. Don't say anything backwards at all. Don't say thank you forwards, and don't say anything backwards. Okay?
Good to know.
Please. But other than that, other than all that, we'll be fine.
I feel so prepared. I've never had a list of rules before going someplace. This is... Surely we'll have no problems whatsoever.
I don't like these rules.
Please don't break them. Please. We will have such a bad time if you don't adhere to these rules. I'm so serious about this.
Right.
Okay, so you guys get led into the forest just eastward, not eastward, sorry, westward of the city of Silvery Moon. It's right on the border between the city and the Evermoors, the marshlands. When you get in there, the guard that's delivering you does let you know also, we do have a bit of a slight thing that wasn't mentioned previously. The entrances that we have found to the Feywild don't tend to appear in the same place too often. So you might need to find one yourself. And with that, he kind of steps away, and if you need anything, we'll be just outside the forest. And he looks terrified as he looks around. Good luck. And he
Thank you.
backs away as quickly and straight as possible. What skills will you guys be employing? What things will you be doing to try and find an entrance to the Feywild?
Well, I suppose being as familiar as I am with the Feywild, I would scout around looking for known entrances like fairy circles, or maybe like an abandoned old elven ruin of some kind, or just something that's generally very naturey.
How about tracks of the children?
Ooh.
That could work. So if you're using a nature, what skill, Kale, are you using to do that? Nature or?
It would probably be nature.
Yep. Okay. And Wampum, if you're looking for the tracks of the children, I think that would be survival.
Okay.
Okay. Any other ideas that people would be doing?
Can I play my lute? I think of musical things. I think maybe that will thin the veil.
That's a good idea.
Allie is going to go look for flowers or anything interesting to pick or collect.
I'm
Now,
just
when
gonna.
you say going to look for flowers to pick and collect, are you separating from the party to do so?
No, she'll stay within vision distance of at
Okay.
least one number at all times.
All right.
I'm just gonna start poking everything with the tip of my glaive.
Eventually something says, ow.
Oh, sorry.
So, yeah. All right. So first, I will channel divinity to give myself proficiency in nature because I don't have it, and then I'll rub my lucky rock for guidance. Good luck. So, I can add things. I can do this. It's 10, 15.
15. Okay. Wampum, go ahead and roll your survival.
My survival was a 5 plus 3, 8.
3, 8. Okay. What was your loot, Lafcadio?
14.
14. Ali, what skills would you be using to pick flowers?
Investigation.
Investigation. Go ahead and roll an investigation check.
16 total.
16 total. And you're poking stuff, Nels. I'm assuming that's to detect if anything is an illusion or if it's alive. Like, what are you trying to gain from it? What are you...
Well, if shadows are portals to the Shadowfell, then perhaps plants and plant life could be portals to the Feywild or light. So I'm looking for, sort of an illusion, but it may not be an illusion. So I guess I'm checking to see how stuff reacts to the poke.
Okay. Roll an investigation check. As you poke.
As a 13.
13. Okay. So together you will do various different things that try to help you get closer and closer to an entrance to the Feywild. When Lafcadio plays his lute, an echo seems to respond, but the echo plays a different tune.
Yeah,
Using
you'll hear
your
that.
knowledge of nature, Kale, you managed to spot a couple places that look like the trees themselves seem to have grown into a form of a doorway. And in those places, Nos kind of pokes, and the sword seems to just kind of disappear between the doorway.
Got a thing.
Yep, this looks like the place. So everybody stow your weapons. Definitely don't have them out. And we'll all hold hands and walk through together at the same time.
Okay. I would like one of you to roll a D100. Sorry, not a D100. Sorry, a D20.
Who
Roll a
wants to do it?
D20.
I'll do it.
He's doing
There we
it.
go.
He did it.
14.
14. Okay. Days in the world, in the real world, in the material plane, are weeks in the Feywild. So you have more time in the Feywild than you do in the real world. Now, that doesn't actually matter so much to you. You won't really notice it until you come out, and less time has passed than when you came through. So, stepping through the doorway, the entrance to the Feywild, seems to be like walking through a silk curtain. As it just brushes lightly over your flesh, you start to tingle. You feel like a static electricity expand all across you, connecting each one of you. You are all immediately bombarded by pure energy, pure emotion. It's elate, it's exciting, it's wonderful. I need everyone to roll wisdom saving throws.
$19.
Natural 1 with my modifier. It's a 3.
Those with Fey ancestry have advantage on this save.
19.
8.
Also 8.
Also 8. Okay. Anyone that got below, what did you get?
Wampum has an 11.
11. Okay. Anyone that got below 10, which I think is just Lafcadio and Nos and Ali, feel a little overwhelmed by the emotion and the excitement. So, Lafcadio, what is your flaw? Your character flaw?
My flaw. I put too much trust in those who wield power within my faction's hierarchy.
Okay. You gain a new flaw for the time that you are in the Feywild. You put too much trust in everything and everyone. Okay? Ali, what is your flaw?
I pretend not to understand the local language in order to avoid interactions I would rather not have.
Okay. Your new flaw is actually quite the opposite. You seem to be excited so much about the potential for any sort of engagement and communication that you flip that on its head. You are excited to have communication and involvement with the local individuals. Nos, what is your flaw?
So, funny thing about that, we've never used these before, ever, in any of our games, and usually it's taken me a couple sessions to get to know my character, so I don't have anything written down for that.
Okay.
We could say I'm too quiet sometimes.
You gain a new flaw on top of whatever else you have already. This new flaw, you get easily distracted whenever you see something shiny. Okay. Temporarily. So you 5 pass through. The world beyond is almost identical to what you had seen previously, but everything seems to just glow with extra color. The world is a mirror. The Feywild is just like the material plane, and as you're walking around, you step out of the forest, you can see what looks like a village just off to the side. High wall made of wood instead of stone, surrounding what should be Silvery Moon, but instead is some Fey cityscape. You look all around you, and the sky itself seems to be alive, as clouds moving across seem to shift form in front of you. They change to look like different kinds of animals, and then back to normal cloud form. It's quite disorienting at first. While you're in here, how are you guys going to find the children?
First off, I'm going to hold on to the back of Kale's cloak. That's it.
Okay.
Allie is gonna like wrap her tail around Nos, forming the chain.
Is everybody feeling okay?
Yeah.
Fantastic. We should find someone to talk to.
The colors are
Yes,
so
you know,
vivid. Oh, I like it.
I am aware I am changed. It is different. Everything.
Okay.
Not good.
All right.
But
All right.
good.
Hey, everybody. Down a notch. Down another notch. No more notches. All right. Great. Yeah, if anybody needs to do any talking, Allie, it's going to be me. Just stay calm. Please don't. You talk to me.
Okay.
Okay, but everybody else, you're all good. Everything's fine.
You sound like you know what you're talking about, mate. I'm going to
Yep.
trust you implicitly.
Great. I don't know why you wouldn't.
Completely
Wampum,
natural.
You're very quiet.
Why we just standing here?
Maybe you lighten up just a little bit. One notch for you. Like I said, you guys you can't take it too far, positive or negative. Gotta just kind of keep it even keel, okay?
I'm happy.
Okay. Let's just stick with that then. So, we'll probably need to ask somebody. So, I suppose we would approach that village.
As you begin to even think about approaching someone for help, you hear the sound of someone whistling just nearby, almost in response.
Don't dance! Stop!
Hawk, I hear something.
Is it a tune that we recognize?
It's just a light little tune that you might have heard as a child being played. But as you whistle back, Kale, a creature steps out from behind one of the trees behind you. This individual is probably about 3 foot tall, small fellow, bright green cap that seems to dangle over his shoulder with a little bit of a bobble on it that he's playing with as he's whistling and moving around. Either side of the hat, though, tiny little horns. This small fellow has a nice bushy goatee, and his hindquarters are remarkably hairy. You've experienced or heard about satyrs before, but you've never seen a satyr in real life, as he kind of skips up to you. Oh, good morning.
Good morning. It is nice to see you.
I like your horns.
Would you like one?
No, thank you. But I appreciate it.
Can I, if I hear the TH, can I see if I can cover her mouth fast enough?
Roll a dexterity saving throw. Yes. Right over the mouth.
Mate, this guy sounds great. He probably knows exactly where we need to go.
The name's Ticklebottom.
Hello, Ticklebottom. My friends and I are actually looking for some children. Would you be able to help us in that endeavor?
What you looking for the children for? Are you some kind of strange folk?
Oh, I suppose we'd be strange to you. You see, we're from the other side of yon portal back there. Yes, and as are the children. Their parents miss them very much, and they would just like to see them to be sure that they are all right.
Well, it would be a shame to see children lost. Tell me, what do the children mean to you? If we could perhaps help you out, what'll it mean to you?
A great deal, I suppose. What sort of meaning are you searching for?
Perhaps we can trade services a wee bit. You help a fellow out, and I'll help you.
It sounds fair and even. What sort of help can we provide for you?
He looks at each of you. Looks at all of you up and down. Points at Wampum. I like your beard. Can I take your beard?
Nope.
No.
Respectfully, this gentleman comes from a culture where beards are of utmost value.
And if I understand correctly, the children mean that much to you also. I do believe value is worth value.
It is.
So
However,
you give up something that is valuable to you, and I'll help you find something else that's valuable to you.
Mate, he's making a lot of sense.
Listen to him.
that's the rub, though, isn't it? We have no assurance from you as of yet that you know anything about the whereabouts of these children.
That's certainly true.
So you would need to provide proof of value, as this good gentleman has here, by displaying in full glory and splendor his beard.
Ask him if he knows where all 30 of the children are.
So do you know where any of the missing children are?
Oh, I think we.
I think Teo froze.
That is a really unfortunate pose for every reason. It feels so awful.
He looks so pensive. He's just
No,
like,
don't even.
welcome back.
Yes.
Skype is causing way too many problems tonight.
That's okay. So where did you lose us?
So you were asking him for assurance that he could lead you to the children.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
basically.
Fair enough.
And then we asked if he knew where all 30 of them were.
All 30 of them.
There were 15, but
No.
He will think to himself, fair enough. Well, I myself don't know where the children are, but I know someone who does. An old woman named Agatha. She can certainly find you. Agatha is well known and well acquainted, well capable of finding anything if it's in the Feywild.
Of course. And what is it worth to you for information on her whereabouts?
Give me something shiny.
Something shiny.
She sounds great, mate. Can't wait to meet her.
Agatha is great.
Something shiny. Do any of you guys have anything shiny besides gold? Don't. We'll say like quietly, like don't offer gold, but just anything else.
So, I trust you. And you said not to give them anything. I'm very conflicted now because you're telling me to give them. I don't know what to do.
It's a trade. We show him we have something to trade, and then when he leads it, we assure him that once he leads us to this Agatha, we will offer it to him, or we will give it up.
I reach into my pack and pull out one of the master-crafted horse toys that are shiny and metal.
Okay.
So I take it and I hold it up. I say, "This is what we have to offer you. It's very shiny, and you'll receive payment on delivery of your side of the bargain."
All right. We got a deal. Might I know who I'm making a deal with?
I am the gentleman.
The gentleman.
Yes.
Perfect. Well, the gentleman. I am Ticklebottom, and I'll take you to Agatha. Let's go! And he just starts skipping off down the way.
Important question: does he put the horse away?
Kale has the horse.
Yeah, I'm
Kale,
holding horse.
yeah. So now Kale has
Does
two.
Kale put the horse away?
Okay.
Does
I
he?
put the horse. No, I mean he was just holding it in his hand. I guess yeah, he might have just stuffed it in a pouch to walk away with. That would make sense.
Okay.
And
There he goes again.
Oh no.
Can you guys see me? Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Am I still on the stream?
You are now, yes.
Okay. Cool. Well, I would like to apologize to everyone that's watching. I'm seeming to have so many problems. Not only is my connection suddenly saying it's not working, my speakers and headsets and everything seem to just decide nope. I'm not going to be able to guarantee that I can get myself back online in a timely fashion. As such, I'm sorry, I have to end the adventure at this point. As the characters follow Ticklebottom on towards the Feywild, following in the direction that he heads in. After a couple minutes of them doing so, they will begin to watch him turn around, look back at them confused, and then walk away. He then stops, turns back, looks at them, and starts running away as quick as possible, terrified of the individuals following him. Has my camera gone now?
No, you're still.
No,
Okay.
you're good. Still here. Okay. Everything seems to be breaking. So we will rejoin the adventure next week. Sorry about all of this. As it would appear the guide that you have somewhat made a trade with seems to have forgotten who you are and is now running away from you.
Okay, I got a plan.
All right. So, again, sorry, folks. I will get this sorted for next week. Please join us at that point, and we'll continue the adventure through the Feywild. Okay?
Cool.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.